Hello and welcome back, everybody, from Studio in Stara Zagora. We are Esra, Aidas, and Yeva, volunteers from Center of European Initiatives. This program is co-funded by Erasmus Plus program of the European Union.
So, hello everybody. It's already three of us right there. It's quite cold in our studio yet, but it's getting warmer outside. I hope you're doing fabulous because we are, right?
Yeah, we are, of
Yes,
course.
hello everyone.
Hallelujah.
So, are you fine today? How's everybody doing?
Well, at the morning I went to the music school. It was a very fun. We had a great discussion. We were all talking and expressing our thoughts and opinions. And
Nice.
yeah.
It's like a training for now discussing,
Exactly.
right?
Yes. I feel like now I'm more relaxed and more calm. Yeah.
What about you, Yeva?
Well, it's nice. And we've also been to the electronic school, so it went quite nice. And how about you, Ivy?
I'm doing just fabulastic.
Awesome.
Is that a word? Okay, so today we'll be talking about living on a budget. Uh, I think that is quite a useful topic for everybody, especially as volunteers when we have such a tight budget to live on.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's very hard to be on a budget, and manage your money. Yeah, I've been broke for 10 days now, and I can tell you it's hard.
I hope our topic today will help you and other volunteers to manage
Yeah.
your budget.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should move on to music break, and then we're gonna start our topic. So, money. What I can say that money itself is a very big thing in today's world. Almost everything is built on it. But at one point in your life, you don't really think about it. It's childhood, right? It is usual that when you're young, parents provide everything you need for living. So when is the point? When do we get to that point when we really start thinking about money differently? What do you think, Esther?
I started shifting the way I perceive money and the way I think about money the moment I got into college. I started to think of my buying and see what is worth to buy and what is not worthy. Because, at that time, the only resource of money I had, used to come from my parents. Okay, so, and I realized that my parents had worked so hard for their whole lives. So it's time for me, to make money, to make my own money
Yeah,
and
that's right.
save my money.
You have to always.
Yeah, so I feel like I just wanted to show them, hey, if you want to retire, you can start to take your work less seriously and just focus on yourself. So in the first place I did it for my parents, and after that I started to have that small short goals like buying a new pair of shoes or going on a vacation with my
Okay,
friends.
it's always so good to buy something
Yeah.
that you earn.
Exactly, in a way, like I'm spoiling myself or I'm just having fun, Yeah, so thinking in this way made me realize that I don't need the things I consider buying on a daily basis, and I can consciously now make a decisions of, not to spend money on one, two, three, and because I'm saving money for one, two, three. You
Well,
know?
that's right.
Yeah.
What about you? Yeah, when did you start thinking of money differently?
Well, it's probably the same as Ezra, as I got to live with you when we started living alone. But I think that the first time I started thinking about money seriously was maybe in the first grade, when I actually realized that my parents are working really hard to get that money, and I just usually get the pocket money to go to the school canteen to buy some food for me, and I started saving it. So that was my a very nice thing to do. And I used to spend this money on things that I need. For example, like a new dress or a new shoes, because I used to love wearing colorful things in childhood. What about you, Ivy?
Well, actually, I've been receiving money since I was very little. It was on all the holidays, on all the Christmas and on my birthdays. And actually, when I think about it, that money was not really. It was not earned by me, and I wasn't thinking of it as I would think right now, because it was then, oh, I have money, I can spend it. Well, actually, sometimes I think the same right now, but when it comes to my responsibilities, to buying food, to supporting something, then I started thinking differently, and it probably started when I first earned my. When it was the first time I earned my money by myself, so when I started working, it, it, it was, I can't really say, was probably at a restaurant. When I first gained my money, then I realized that how hard it is to earn it and how easy it is to spend.
Yeah, on point.
Yeah. So, do you have anything to add?
I mean, like, I feel like we have the same kind of reasons that we care about our family and our parents, and
I think so too, right?
yeah, so it's good, like we start to feel that we need to have kind of responsibility toward this our money and toward this our purchase.
Yeah, though from different countries we have same values about family and
Yeah.
about our point of view to the life.
Yeah.
That's right. I think it's time for some music, right?
Yeah,
Let's
have
go
some
to
fun.
music break. So, as I mentioned, there are a few different kinds of people considering money. So one could be someone who takes budgeting as a serious matter, and the other, the one who spends it all very easily. So, what do you think, Yeva? Is it better to be an easygoing person, or to actually try to control your finances?
Well, I truly believe that it's so much better to actually control your finances, as it would help you to live longer on the budget.
Yeah.
So, do you Esther agree on that as well?
Of course, I do agree. Like, if I didn't agree on that, I would be now asking people on the streets for money.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, probably because you have kind of a harsh situation.
Yeah.
There. So, if we all agree on that, so what could be the best methods of living on a budget?
Okay, so I have some methods, like I made a small research that the best thing is to, first of all, when you're going to the shop, have a glossary list, because it will help you spend like less time searching for the things that you need or you don't even need, and it will help you save money. And the second thing is to stop paying for convenience. For example, when you have bought the things you need for a week of the from the grocery shop, you can just prepare food and take it with you. For example, buying a coffee at a machine can cost you 60 centimes.
Can I interrupt you for
Yeah,
a
of
second?
course.
I mean, like, I really try to do this, but I have a guilty, pleasure of loving chocolate and just wanted to eat it all the time. And there's come times when I just can't control this.
Well, of course, nobody says that you cannot spoil yourself sometimes. Let's say one time in a week you can buy a chocolate or something.
I
No?
just can't go. It's one time per week.
But maybe there's a yeah, you can choose the time when you want to buy the chocolate. For example, you could buy it somewhere in the city, and like for example, in a small shop that would cost you more expensive than in a bigger shop that you could buy there like cheaper.
Yes.
So maybe you can just plan these things and buy some in advance and just hide it from yourself. And
Yeah.
when it comes the moment, you can
Yeah.
just grab it.
I mean, because if I did like you said and just put 5 chocolates and put them on my fridge, I will eat them in the same day.
Yeah. Chocolate. That's
Yeah.
taste, right?
Yeah, I have exactly the same
Yeah.
problem with Agnes. Like I
Yeah.
usually like having these things in my fridge or just
Yeah.
somewhere hidden,
Yeah.
and there is always someone who likes to steal it. And eat it.
Well, of course, I'm a person that if I buy something, I have to eat it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If that happens, then maybe it's the best way just to go through all the shops
Yeah.
and say no chocolate, anything. Just buy some rice, some bread,
Yeah.
cheese, or butter, and
Yes.
just
Yeah, you just have to somehow control yourself, right?
Yeah, I know.
and just have these
Unfortunately.
normal things that would make you full, and you
Yeah.
wouldn't need the amount of sugar
Yeah, I
because
would-
it always makes you hungry. Like it doesn't help to
Exactly.
make you full.
Feel like I'm never full, you know? Yeah.
Okay, but I think we should move on with the methods, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What are the other methods?
Okay, so I didn't finish the second one. So it's stop paying for convenience. If you want coffee, you can do it at home. It would cost you like 30 cents, not 60, instead of buying it at a machine, or like even more if you buy it in the coffee shop. And for example, if you want a sandwich, you can prepare it at home and bring it with you. It will be more healthy and it will cost you less. The second thing, the next thing, that you can have only cash, because that allows you to spend money physically, and that you need to spend it consciously.
Yeah, I think it is a very good tip. As when you're trying to swipe your card everywhere, then you just don't see how your money disappears, and at one point you just see, wow, I have nothing in my bank account.
Yeah, and they charge you with interest.
That's as well true,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, so one more thing that could help is maybe tracking your spending for 1 month and afterwards consider the budget and stick to it. Because sometimes, as we mentioned, we just spend a lot of money for chocolates or just small things like chips or popcorn, or small things, cookies and stuff like that, that doesn't make us feel better and just make us spend money.
Well, that is right. Well, from my point of view, I could only say that the most important rule when you're trying to save money or live on a budget is to think before you do, and always think if you really need to buy something, or is it just just something to spoil, to try to spoil yourself, or as you said about chocolate. Do you have anything to add? What do you think about this whole thing?
I
What
mean,
what kind of other methods would you think of?
okay, before getting you into couple of methods, I used to live on a budget. I would like to ask our listeners a question. Like, they do they do like to have more material things, or they like to live or experience more things in life. Okay, it's a very simple question. I would like you, if you can put it into consideration and think about it. And moving on to the methods I used to apply in this month. First thing, I always try to adapt my meals to the food I have in my fridge, which means sometimes I need to mix like two different ingredients that I have never imagined them in the same dish.
Well,
Yeah.
that is actually how new recipes come
Yeah.
to life, right?
Yes, like, and because I don't have another option, like this is the only two ingredients I have in my fridge, and I just want to eat and feel full. And thank God, most of the times they end up pretty good and tasty. So this is like the first thing I do, and secondly, I don't throw away food. Like I eat everything I have. Yeah, like
That's smart, yeah.
yeah, like I make sure to not leave any food left from.
But
Yeah.
but if no, what about if it goes bad?
Uh,
You'll have to throw it, right?
I mean, I will eat it anyway. I will.
If it goes bad,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
say a milk goes bad,
Hmm.
and it is like harsh to eat.
No, of course, if like a milk, I'm not gonna eat it because I just can't. But it's like rice that I
Well,
cooked
yes,
today
yes.
and I filled in it. I will just try to put some salt, some I don't know, some exactly to add
Anything.
a taste on it.
Anything to have taste. Well, rice and then other cereals are the things that do not actually go bad. So when you live on a budget, it's a very good thing to always have those, just in case.
Exactly, yes. And like since the food is like the main place where we all of us lost our money, sometimes I would like skip breakfast and just eat on the lunch and the dinner. And sometimes I flip things and I eat in the breakfast and the lunch, and I skip dinner. Because yeah, it's a method of me living on a budget because it will save money and I will have food on the next day to eat.
But if you think about your health side, it's not very good to skip the meals, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I am full and I don't feel the need of having a breakfast or having a dinner, why not? I mean, it's not healthy also to eat at night.
You're right.
So I can skip dinner, but yeah, I can consider eating in the breakfast.
But also, we shouldn't forget that it is very important to maintain balanced diet. that you have to get in meat and like vegetables and stuff like that to keep you healthy.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like if I had a breakfast or dinner, I make sure that I have some vegetables, some
Yeah, that's
yeah.
very good.
Everything you need for your body.
Exactly.
Then maybe the one advice would be just to buy products raw. And for example,
Yeah.
as simple as possible. If you need
Yes.
buckwheat, you buy buckwheat,
Yeah.
not with added
I mean,
spices and salt and things like that.
exactly. Of course, I cook myself. Since I arrived here, I learned some recipes that because I need to
Bravo.
cook. Yeah, and in the first 2 weeks I arrived, I made a meal prep, and it went very good. And after that, everything just failed, but doesn't matter. Yeah, and I go like grocery stores at night, and on the sales season, like I just buy everything very cheap, and I save money.
Well, yes, of course, checking out all the sales in local shops is also a
Yeah.
very good tip, as you can get everything much cheaper.
Yes. Moving on for the food part, I learned it by myself on YouTube how to trim my hair because I like to trim my hair every 2 months.
Well, of course, the
Yeah.
hair salons cost so much.
Exactly. And I don't usually do my nails at beauty salon or anything, so that save money. And of course, I don't go out at the weekends because I just spend sometimes at home and I can do some activities out, but it will not cost me anything like free walking, park.
Well, I think that let's say at the end of the month,
Yeah.
if you really have some money left from your
Mhm.
budget,
Yeah.
I think it's not that bad if you go out with some friends.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not bad.
Socializing is still important.
I mean, I do that, but in a way that's not gonna cost me money.
Yeah, see, and,
Yeah.
and you don't have to do it like every day or even every weekend.
Yeah, yes, yes. But like just speaking in my experience that I really, like I'm living on a very tight budget. That's why I make sure
Oh, yes,
to not go
right.
out, not have all my, meals.
Oh yes, that's if you have like a
Yeah.
really tight one.
Exactly. And for the people that don't have like living here and they do not, of course, get refunded for the bus tickets, they can just skip the whole transportation part and just buy a bike. It will, they will not need to park in anywhere.
Well, yes, buying a bike is also expensive, so
Yeah, I mean, you can just buy a used, cheap
well,
one.
maybe right.
Yeah, and like not to buy it tomorrow, like in a time that you already have money and save
Yes,
money for it.
yes.
Um, what else? I feel like sometimes if like we girls we like to shopping, so if I want to get a new dress or anything, I would just go to a second-hand clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, like
And one more useful tip in this topic is that you can just buy a new thing
Yeah.
when you need to replace an old one.
exactly.
Because we have usually too many clothes in our
Mhm.
closets and it doesn't even close properly.
Yes.
Usually that happens to girl.
Exactly.
So I think that it's better to buy one when you actually need it.
Yeah, like
Or yeah, just use the second-hand shop.
yes. I mean, like, it saves your wallet, and at the same time, you're doing a favor to the environment, and you're leaving a lighter footprint on the earth. Because we're not consuming products, we're not like forcing the, I don't know, like factors to produce more clothes and stuff. Yeah, so, like, this is my simple budgeting tips, and the most tools I think that's allowed me to do a lot of things since I arrived. Like, I'm gonna travel the next month to Budapest, and that wouldn't happen if I didn't live on a budget.
Yes.
And
But when you have to spend the money, you have to
Yeah.
somehow start thinking about money.
exactly.
So I think that is pretty much it for our methods of living on a budget. And we'll have a short music break again. And after that, we can actually go to some extreme mode and talk about what would happen if you run out completely out of money. So stay with us and enjoy the music.
Yeah.
So the extreme conditions. Imagine yourself running completely out of money. You have $0, €0 or $0 in your pocket. And
Yeah.
what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes.
For example, as I told you, the most important thing for me is to have food and water, and like if I got those two things, I can live without money. For the water, I'm not sure if you witness that or not, but when I go to the office, I make sure to fill my empty
Well, of
bottles.
course.
Yeah, with the water from
But
the office.
in usually in most of the countries, and even in Bulgaria, you can actually just drink out of the tap.
No,
Oh, you can't.
no. I mean, if that would be possible, of course I would done that.
Hmm.
Why would I just go to the office and
Mhm.
wait for the water? Uh, have you tried to drink from the tap?
Not really. We have some kind of filter, but
Yeah.
so what about running completely out of money? What do you think, Eva? What would you do?
Well, I've never had a situation like this, but
Lucky.
I have some tips. For example, we all know that we have some particular skills that might be useful for others. So why don't we earn money by selling these skills online? It
Yeah.
will be some kind of freelancing, even teaching English because we're quite good at it, as you can see. One more thing is that you can turn your trash into cash. That's a catchy phrase, which means that if you have books, for example, old books or electronic devices or clothes that you're not using, you can sell them online. There are platforms that allows you to do that, and it's quite handy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's are
Smart.
my tips. Do you have something?
Well, I actually do. The first thing I want to say that you always have some friends, and you always have your family.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in some extreme cases you don't, but I think you can always refer to a friend or your family if you have absolutely nothing, and they will probably help you.
Of course.
And what do you think about just if you don't have any money? What do you think about begging?
I mean,
Is it a good way to just have some cash in your pocket just for food if you don't even have food?
I mean, yeah, why not? Because if I'm hungry and I really don't have any other way, this is like I have to do so. But as I told you yesterday, I'm taking this as a challenge, like for the first months only. Like if I'm living this experience again, of course I will ask, my family or ask Maria
Yes.
or ask Giovanni. But I just wanted to, uh, put myself in this challenging situation and see how I'm going to
You're right.
do, And I actually like I'm here now and it's only one day left and I will take my pocket money and live like a normal human. Yeah,
But
so
just make sure not to spend it again,
yeah, definitely.
or maybe another flight.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe it, but me and Ilis, we took some like inspiration from you, and we also decided like to
Oh, to
just
travel?
no, not to travel. We
Yeah.
just decided to live on a budget and just eat everything we have at home, and then buy food like the fresh one. Because we
Yeah.
had so much like things left from the last and previous week
Yeah.
that we just wanted to cook everything. And right now, if you open our refrigerator, you would see that there's nothing.
We have butter. Come on.
Yeah.
We have butter now.
I'm so proud of all of
Of
us.
course, you cannot just eat butter alone.
Yeah, but it's very nice because we came up with so many different dishes that were not even bad. They
Ex-
were good.
Exactly. Like I don't know. You feel like you just figured out a way for you to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and most important that it's not a boring meal because you create it.
Yeah.
And the moment of creation and with and the result makes you happy. It's very
Yes.
nice. I really enjoyed this experience.
What about if we could think about some could you remember of any other points that you were very low money, just take away this volunteering, and before in your life have you ever been in such a situation that you would have literally almost no money?
Yeah, like back then I didn't know like how to live on a budget. I was just so not determined that I want to save money and I want to be conscious on what I buy. So whenever I get my salary, I just go to mall or shopping or anything, and I don't mind if I can spend every pound I have. And I find myself in the middle of the month having nothing and begging for my family to give me money.
So,
Yeah.
what kind of tip could you give if any of our listeners would get in that situation?
I mean, for your first job, be, like always learn how to get the best out of your salary, because I used to get paid very well, but because of my, you know, very low experience with money, I didn't use it in the right way. So before going and getting yourself into a job, like have certain goals, why you're working and what you want to do with your salary, and what can you buy. Like now, if I was working, the first thing I will do is that I will save money and travel, and stop buying and start experience more
Oh
things.
yes,
Yeah.
I could actually also say that I was kind of in a similar situation when I would spend all my money just when I get it, and it kind of feels bad. So as I said, just be cautious be cautious of a rule that you have to think before buying something.
I mean, I used to feel very miserable when I find myself ending up with no money, and I still go to work every day and still make
Oh yeah.
effort, and I just just spend it all, like I wasn't working or wasn't appreciating my work.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I also have one more tip from my side that when you get a salary, try to put aside like 20% of it at least till the next like other side of the month because sometimes you just really run out of money, and if you have like this extra money that you put aside and you, let's say, forgot about it, it would really help and save the situation in this case.
Exactly. And actually, if you are lucky enough to have a car, you can, work with Uber.
You can, yes.
Yeah, and you'll just offer some rides to people. And if you have a tight schedule like us, you can just work for 2 hours in a day. And
Yes.
yeah, and you will gain money. And
And I think in that point you can get the money just on the spot.
exactly.
You can get it instantly, not after the month, right?
Yeah, like, yeah, you just need money now. Go get into your car and do make some two rides or stuff. And after that, you will have money to buy whatever thing you want.
Yes,
And if you don't like to do such a thing, you can just rent your car.
of course.
Yeah, and if you have like an expensive equipment like camera or video like cameras.
Just make use of everything that you have
Exactly,
got.
exactly. Yeah.
So as we are running quite low on time, I think we will go to another music break,
Mhm.
and then we'll go to our conclusions.
Awesome. Okay, so right now the steps, I hope they help with you, because they help with us to keep that kind of spending under control and allow some of the volunteers to save a little bit of money. Uh, just be patient with yourself. It's not gonna work from the first month. It's not gonna work from the second month. It's okay. Sometimes budgeting is hard, but also there's always will be alternatives. There's always ways to find what you want at a discount price. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you got something out of us and enjoyed the show. If you have any amazing tips or money saving tips, just comment on our latest post. We can have a discussion there as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
listening.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Ciao.
Ciao.